Hey everybody, we are here today with Lichink is his online name. Do you want to introduce yourself, so?
Yeah, hello, my name is Franco. I'm originally from Argentina, now an Irishman.
Born and bred in Ireland now.
Yeah, apparently that's how it works. You move here and they change you forever.
You become an alcoholic or something, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I've been told.
So you did something quite incredible. Was it last weekend now, just gone? The weekend just gone? You
just a couple of days
second
ago.
in an event. What event was it? Tell the world.
Tell the world. Okay, so it was the London Regionals. So was the European Regionals for Digimon for the September-October period. I think that's how they call it officially, right? But it's London Regionals for short.
Yeah, I think London Regionals. How many people were playing in it?
I think initially the tournament was full, so I think it was 256 people full. I think it was more like 200 when it started, something around there, and by the end of it some people drop out and stuff, so I think 180 remained.
180, wow. And it was a 2-day event as well, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a grueling 2D event. So we started Saturday at 9 a.m, finished it Saturday at 8 p.m, and Sunday came back at 9 a.m. again to battle it out until, like, I think lunchtime or something.
That's seriously impressive. And the fact that you actually traveled for the event as well. Like, I know Digimon is getting so big now, which is, I'm just delighted about it, but I don't think you hear of that many people actually traveling for Digimon events at the moment, like properly traveling, you know? So
yeah,
fair play.
Yeah, I think it's a shame because especially like if you're aiming for the high finish, right? But like the events are really fun. Like on first place, right? It's fun to go. You meet a lot of people. You're guaranteed to have like many decks you will encounter. But I think Bandai does a really good job of providing prizes that give you enough incentive to go. Like if you happen to get a first place on like any kind of event they have, not only regionals, like you're probably getting around 500 euros or something.
Oh yeah.
Least.
Even the participation, even the participation stuff. Like I remember I went to one of the first Evo Cups that they did, and I got that, like, you know, that Agumon egg thingy, the Koromon,
yeah, the Koromon,
on the dinosaur,
yeah.
and like it was €30 to enter the event, but I got that, and I think it was the playmat was with that, and like that Koromon's gone up over €100 now. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
So I think Digimon is one of the games that, at least right now, it's providing one of the best incentives to travel. So first thing I would say is, like, if you have an event you can go and it's on Reach, or you like go for it, because events are really good, and Digimon it's a really fun game that provides a lot of room for many decks and different skill sets to show up.
Yes, and this format especially, like there was Commandramon topping, there was Metal Groovemon topping, there was Gaumon. I don't even know how to pronounce the bloody name of that thing. I don't play red, so or black, so I was like Go, because I've only ever seen it written down. I'm like, well.
The Reapers also. You have Mastemon, I think.
Yeah.
I think I even saw yellow hybrid decks topping just with one Jetsilphimon, because it's restricted now. But it still does well. Like, I don't know. But I think that's one of the really nice things about Digimon, right? The diversity it has, because like the difference between the tier 1 and the tier 2 is not that much.
It really isn't. And I found that I'll try one deck and it won't work for me one day, and then the next day it'll just be insane. And I'm like, where did this come from? Why are you doing this to me now?
yeah.
But it's really
Luck
good.
Can be also a factor.
So what were you playing for the regional?
Okay, so for the regional I went with Security Control.
People are going to have mixed feelings about that.
Yeah, I know I'm going to be the bad guy, and I will tell people it's okay, you can hate me, but you shouldn't hate the deck, because I know people tend to find it boring, but it's also a matchup that requires a lot of skill, and I can tell you from the Security Control side, you can win all games against it. You just need to learn how to play against it, and you need to find the routes, because the deck is not unbeatable, and it doesn't set up boards that it's impossible to do it unless like it's turn 1 million, right?
Yeah, the longer you leave security control go on, the worse it gets for you, honestly. No, I agree with you there. I've never had an issue with security control. I always thought it was a fair deck, but I guess it's like the argument of Mystic Mine and Yu-Gi-Oh! People are very against it. Just draw the out. God.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest difference is it's a deck you can still play. Like there's nothing that locks you out of the game. Say something, right?
Yeah.
I think it's in all card games, control archetypes are like hated because like they control what you do, and especially on Digimon that can feel a bit sad sometimes because you have your big pile, you have your perfect lineup, and you just go and they go like, okay, yeah, I have the removal, and you go, no.
Yeah, like good old what is it, Alphamon can just like not activate anything or something like that.
Yeah.
Just nothing activates in security. So yeah, there's decks like that that can totally go against it. And I've always found it not an unfair deck. I don't like playing it myself because I'm a bugger for my like OTK decks. I like to get the game over fast. I like big swings, you know, tiny brain combos. How many rounds did you have on day one?
So day one was 6 rounds. We got to play 6 rounds, and then we had the cut to the top 16. So then it was 4 more rounds. So we played 7 rounds on day one because we played the top 16 also on the first day, and we just played the top 8 on the second day.
Okay, so that's decent amount of matches for sure.
Yes, yeah, that's a lot of matches, and especially once you get to top 16, right, to the cut, Digimon rules kind of change because now you have longer time, right? So rounds become like you have like 15 extra minutes between the extra time and the extra time you have on turns. It becomes even more grueling at the end, right? Because like you always have to play it full. Like you play the 3 games, you have to play the 3 games.
You play through every game to the end. That's hard going for some people, I'd say.
Yeah.
What were your matchups like? Like, can you talk us through what you're playing against?
Yeah.
If you remember, of course.
No,
long
of course.
all day with long games.
I have it all. Let me get my notes because I have it all like.
You came prepared. You know I was going to ask you. Good.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so I have like. These were my rounds. So I played my first round against Armor Rush, which is a quite favorable matchup. Once we get into the deck choices, you will see why. But first round was up against Armor Rush. That was a win. Then I got Imperial Dramon. That was also a win. Another Imperial Dramon. Quite a popular deck. Over the weekend, I saw many tables running it. And a lot of people were saying like, oh no, the deck is not gonna like do well, or people are not gonna play it because it's an old deck. And it's like, it's not true. It got a lot of cards that are good, and like the deck, it's still really strong.
That deck is one of my hardest matchups.
Yeah.
Such a good deck, honestly. I am a huge fan of Imperial Dramon.
Yeah. And talking about hard matchups, on the round 4, I got to play against Gaiomon or a Black Wargreymon, because like it's kind of the same deck, right? Which ended up in a tie, which is really good because one of my worst matchups. So if I manage to like steal a game or tie a game against it, it's like I'm super happy.
Delighted with life.
Then I played round 5 was against another Armor Rush. This time was like a bit more control, I would say, because like between Magnamon X, he was playing also the package of like I think 2 or 3 Shagomon, so it had a lot of recovery potential, and it was like we just had one or 2 more turns. I think I will have got it, but like time was what it was, and like it ended up in a tie. And then my 6th round was against Agarurumon X.
Okay, that's great. And so I know the Black War Grey Gaumon was probably one of your hardest matchups, but what else did you kind of find quite difficult during the day? Like, did you find something was you had to play a certain way around to beat it? Yeah,
definitely. There's some decks, for example, Armor Rush and Garuru X both fall in a category. I would say like you have to find a way to stop them early. Because it's the way they beat you, right? So you have to find that way to get into the long terms, right? That sometimes is really hard because sometimes you have to do things that are not good, like saying turn 1, dropping a Magna Angemon, and giving them 7. And it sounds like crazy, right? Because like you're giving 7 on the first or second turn to a really aggressive deck. But it turns out, like, if you can do that and force them to either commit a lot of things to the board to then kill with Death X, or just go to into a big pile that you can then kill, like, it's about how you set those early turns, even though you're giving them lots of advantage on the first turn.
Oh wow, that's a really clever way of thinking about that. I actually would have never thought of that myself, and I would totally be the type of person to fall into that trap. If you give me a load of memory, I'm committing to a full board.
I think it only happened one of the rounds, one of the games. It happened. I went like, oh yeah, Magna, give you 7, and they were like, okay, full board, your turn. I went like, okay, Death X for 3, for 2, right, or something like that. I was like,
I bet that felt really good.
Yeah, yeah,
so nice.
It did. Then on the top 16, I got to play against the D Reaper on the top 16.
Oh wow, how did that go? Yeah, D Reaper, because levels, I guess, don't
matter. One of the good things about this deck is like we will see once we get to the card choices. But the levels don't matter that much.
Okay.
Because like you don't have that many cards at reference level. The only card that mentions a level on this deck is Death X, and contrary to what you would think, actually Death X is one of the best cards against the deck, and it's like kind of the only way to beat it.
Yeah, because of the play cost secondary effect of Death X.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So yeah, you kind of have to go on like, okay, the first time like you have the chance, like if you go like, okay, Rise Mother, put Searcher, play 2 Searchers, your turn, and like they give you 1, you go, okay, give you 10, Death X, play.
Yeah, and then they don't really have removal a lot of the time in D Reaper as well. Like the only removal I was playing in, well, I'm a bit of a crackhead. I was always playing the Wyvern's Breath no matter what. But I think most lists don't actually play the yellow package, and they might just have another Death X and that's it.
You would think that, but on the top 16, my opponent went, oh, you give me 10, looks at the hand and goes to like Starmon, kill you Death X. And I was like,
love it. That's good.
yeah.
Right, I guess we get into the deck profile anyway. I suppose I'll stop delaying people seeing your fabulous deck.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay, so I will start with the X. First, I'm playing 5X. 4 of the best deck like you can have, it's Digimon. Once per turn, you draw a card whenever you use an option of cost 2 or more. That's all your options. So this helps you a lot in the deck, because you have so many different options that work against different matchups that you need to cycle through the bad ones, on a sense, to get to the ones you actually need for that game, right? And also really helps you a lot to find like Digimons whenever you need to push for a bit of damage, or Death X and other cards. It's like the engine of the deck. It's like the best egg, no questions asked.
Good to know.
I was playing just the one Upamon because I think it's like the secondary best, and I wanted to play 5X because I'm playing kind of a high count of rookies on this deck, and I never want to run out of eggs, right? And this allows me to go like on the first turn ever go like, okay, whatever rookie I have on the Digimon, rise it. And if they kill it, right? Because it stays like kind of like a tamer on the deck, because you don't attack with it that much, because you just want to keep drawing cards.
Yeah.
But if they keep killing them, like you round out of yellow eggs, right? And that's really bad because you're not playing any yellow tamers, so that break all your options, basically.
that wouldn't be good news, and I know that security control tend to have long games where you would be going into grind games, so I think a 5th egg is definitely a good option.
Going into the deck, I will first like give the most important card. It's the 4 carry and the 4 Mimi.
Okay.
This is the core of the deck, right? Because they both allow you so many different things, and they're super important. We're playing a heavy purple option requirements.
Okay.
So we need something to turn them on. And I've seen a lot of deck reviews of this deck playing 3 Mimis, or maybe playing 3 carries, right? Or something on the 7 count. But both tamers are so good. Like, you have to play the full 4.
You gain so much memory from that, like, and if they're hitting the tamers in security as well, oh, nice.
Yeah. And like, you have to remember on this meta game, like a lot of decks don't longer have that many gain memory, like outside of attacking. So it's usually attack, check, and do something, stand up, and they gain memory. Like for example, the Imperial when it stand ups and things like that, right? So carry, what it does, like it allows you to set your opponent on how much memory you want them to have that turn. So you can always go like, okay, but you only have one more play, or even worse, like if you manage to get like 3 on the board or 4, that's even crazier. You just go like most of the time. Whenever they attack, they lose the turn. So you can lock them out of the game. And then Mimi is super good because it reduces all your options, so they cost less. So now suddenly you're a security control that all the removal options that like hard stomp, anything that they put on board only cost 4 memory or 6 memory. And that's really, really crazy for the game. And also don't forget that all the decks, including for example the Reaper, are playing options, especially the X antibody option. And a lot of people depend on that card being an actual 0 cost, because like they want to attack and then evolve on attacking. So if you have Mimi and it's unsuspend, because it's any player plays an option and it's all turns, they go, okay, X antibody, and you go, okay, tap 2 Mimis, you lost your turn.
Oh, I love it.
Then you play the removal and the game is over. You just win on the spot.
Very nice.
So, very nice. And then going to our more heavy like removal options, you're playing 4 Chaos Degradation.
Nice. Yeah, that card messes over so many people. I love it.
This is an effect that, like, what you have to read this card is 8 cost, remove something from the board. Nothing stops it. Well, Congo does, because like the effect doesn't allow you to like trigger this to put them on the security, but like it's the only way to prevent it. So like all the protective like effects like Greymon X,
like the
on
undeletion,
Garuru X,
all of those,
the undeletions, they cannot be returned to deck or to hand. Like you avoid all of them.
It is crazy that one card in all of Digimon is the only thing that stops it, and that is Congo.
Yeah,
only one card, but that stops everything else.
And going back to Mimi, like a lot of games, my opponents couldn't play a Congo because if they played a Congo, that was the turn. So they couldn't swing with the Congo effect.
Yeah.
So they had to swing without it, or just do something else and try to gather memory for another turn. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's like no need to explain much. You play 4 all the time. Like you want to see it as much as you can. Then I am playing just 1 Wyvern Breath because that was all the slots I was able to find on the deck to play.
DP reduction is always good, yeah.
Yeah, it's always good. It's like the second best removal because it's the less avoidable. And it's just a good card. It kills a lot of things. And it's really, really good. The next card on the removals, it's Eden Javelin. So this is like draw 1 card and then reduce something equals to like the hand size. So this is really good because like it allows you to like draw more cards, right? And also it's an early turn removal because it only costs 6, so it gives you like allows you to give the opponent less memory on the first turns. And once you have a couple of Mimis, like for example 2 is a 4 cost removal, so most of the time they're going to leave you at 1, and you go like, okay, play Eden for 4, and you're at 3 that probably have a tamer or something, and it's like they cannot do that much on that turn.
Yeah, so you're kind of starting to choke them off the more you get into the game as well. Which is unheard of for security control, usually.
Yeah. It's one of the biggest tools we have right now, and it's really good because like if you can only play 1 card for the turn, but it also kind of chokes them on memory, then it becomes extremely good. The effect is good. Like if you ever wanted to play like more Wyvern Breath, this is probably the card you want to cut. Like maybe you can play like 2 Wyvern and 3 of these. More of a personal choice. I think the 4 give you more consistency on the deck, but depending on like what metagame you expect, like Wyvern could be much better. For example, for me, if I had more Wyverns, the finals of the event that was against the Gaiomon would have been much better because they have moved away from Delegate Plan and more into Congo because it like solves more matchups, like the aggressive matchups, the control matchups, and more stuff. So then suddenly your Wyverns kill their stuff also. The next card of the deck, it's 4 Flame Hellsight. Without the Digimons, doesn't look like that extreme right now, but trust me, when we get to them, like you will see why this card is so good. But it basically in this deck, the card does everything because it kills something, and it can be the secondary effect of reviving something can be either security, more attacks, or more card draw. It's crazy, and it's like one of the only cards currently that can stop basically 3 attacks ish, like 2 attacks. because you can, like, if it comes out of security, it can go, okay, you check this with one Digimon, kill another of your Digimon, bring back a Magna, and then like recovers a card. So you basically can blank 3 attacks with just 1 card in security.
That's
which is crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah. And a lot of the like, you have, like, if you're playing security control, sometimes you have to trust in security, and this is the card you are most of the time trusting into. Like, you're saying, okay, this game is lost unless they check a hell site. So I have to play to like recover as much as I can to like put one there, or like I have to play the best, so like if hell site comes up, like it's the game ender, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And then rounding out the options, we have 4 Holy Wave. This is also a really good card, because on late game, like we mentioned, with so many options, with Mimi, it's a really cheap recovery. It's also a card that, like, they check, you reveal, re-recover another card.
Yeah.
And it's like basically buffering from death, right? Also, when you're playing a deck that's running like 4 Biximons, you want to have as many of your effects on like options as you can. So this can be a really like good turn 2, right? Because you go like Biximon, evolve into something, right? Pass the turn, maybe play a timer, depending on how it is. Then they pass to you, you have at least 1 or 2 memory, probably, maybe 3 if you're lucky. And you just go Rise, play Holy Wave, and give you 3-4, recover 1 and draw 1 card. That's an amazing turn, right? It gets you to prevent some attacks, it gets you to dig deeper into your deck. Like, it's a really good card. Then the 1 reinforcing memory boost, like, the card is broken, that's why it's limited. It's extremely good, and it's part of a combo finish we have on the deck.
I've heard many people say that if a card is on the limited list, you have to play it.
Basically, yeah.
For example, and hidden potential discovered.
Exactly, yeah. Especially in this deck, this card is crazy, because like it can like help you find the rookie to play and put an option on security. It can help you find, like, maybe it's the removal you need. It's super good. And it's also important for, like, I will tell you why later, the one of the finishers the deck has. And the other card we're playing, like, one option, it's Calling from the Darkness, which doesn't look that great on its own, because you go like, oh, it doesn't do anything on security, but it's also what helps us to avoid the deck out. And don't forget the Defex, it's a purple card. So if they check them on security, you can go play Calling for 1, recover Defex, and play it again.
Ah, I see. Yeah, I was like, it does look a little out of place in a security control deck. But no, that makes perfect sense.
Let me explain especially about why it's so important in the deck. Because we are playing 3 Avenge Kitmon. It's a card that it's amazing on the deck, because what it does, it prevents us from losing to deck out, which is basically our auto lose condition, right? If game go long. So what it does is, when it comes into play, it costs 1 less for the option in both players' trashes, right? So it normally costs 12.
Yeah.
But you, like, most of the time you play it for 3, 2, or 0, right? And when what it does is, then you shuffle, like, you get to put all the options in all trashes on the bottom of the deck, so that instantly refills your deck, right? And if you got to return 7 or more cards, you get to destroy 1 3 Musketeers or 1 Digimon with 8k or less. So it's also removal, and it can be a free removal. So sometimes you drop it for 0, kill something, then play an option and kill the other thing.
And don't deck out in the process.
And don't deck out on the process. So this is a really good card. Some decks play 2. I felt more confident on playing 3, because, like, basically you need 1 every single game at least.
Yeah.
Like, 2 runs into the issue that sometimes you can, like, bottom 1 out and then 1 on security, and, like, you don't draw it until it's too late. And mostly because of the deletion effect, not actually the shuffling card back, unless it's a mirror match or, like, some, like, the D-Reaper match. And we're playing to, like, finish this, we're playing 1 Junamon. And Junamon, what does, has retaliation, so that's good, because, like, if they want to trade it, like, they kill both things, and you can, like, swing it into something and they kill both things.
Yeah.
And the effect is, when Digivolving, you trash 3 cards from your deck, and you get to return any Digimon you want to your hand. Doesn't matter the color.
It is an amazing effect.
Yeah. Between the Calling from the Darkness that could return Junamon, and Junamon being able to return Avenge, you always have a way to not deck out, guaranteed every single game.
And that was a real pain point at one point for security control decks. It was pretty much who decks out first game is in the mirror match. Like, so it's really cool. No, I like it a lot.
And one card I'm playing, that this is something not many lists run, but I think it's fine. And it helps, especially on the mirror, because I expected a couple of like control matches that will go to the long term. Is Microcommon. So the effect is like on play, because you're never evolving, right?
Yeah.
You can trash a card from your hand, and depending on the color, if it's yellow, it gets minus 3k to something, and if it's purple, it destroys a rookie, right? But if you trash a card that's both colors, it does both things.
Yeah.
So it's something you can play and kills basically 2 rookies on the board. So it's really good against aggressive decks. And also gives you another combo with this, because now you're Calling from the Darkness returns your level 5 and your level 6. So now you have like the full potential there. And also an effect that like a lot of people don't realize is discarding cards on the deck is kind of good on some matchups, especially against Imperial Dramon, because like one of the worst things they can do against you is send all your Magna Angemons that you're playing 4 of to the bottom of the deck. So now suddenly your Flame Hellsights never get to like heal you, so they become much worse.
Yeah.
What you do is you're able to play like the Mycrack, kill something on their board, discarding the Magna, and now you have set it up for any Flame Hellsight you draw from that point on the game is live to kill something and recover.
That is amazing. And also, you can actually bring it back with Flame Hellscythe as well.
Exactly.
So then you can do like minus 9k, right? Minus 9k and kill a rookie at the same time. So
yeah, that's a play that comes, and another play that comes is like it's much rarer, but you can actually bring this and kill 3 things on the board, because you go Flame Hellscythe, kill something with like 4 or 5k. 2 effects of the Microcommon, you kill a rookie and something with 3k. So you like out of 1 check or like playing 1 card, you kill 3 things, and that's really important. 3 effects, because like it's a crazy card. It's really good. Some people think it's quite unfair. The secondary effect is really, really powerful, right? And once like if your opponent, if you every turn you go kills like your board, and then they have to play something or do nothing because like Death's gonna kill it anyways, basically you won the game. But it's also a card that it's really easy to play around. Like if your opponent knows what they have to do and never give you enough things on the board so you can play a Death X, then like the card basically like rots on your hand.
Yeah.
When it costs 14 memory, like say you have a Digimon and a Tamer, that's the most common situation. They probably didn't give you 4 memory to play it, and most of the matchups you don't want to give them 10 of memory. It's not that good as people think, but it is really, really good against most aggro matchups, because like they don't have much option. They have to commit to the board, because otherwise you just 1-for-1 them, and that's already enough. You have to like against the other matchups, you have to do some things like attack their security to try to find a Tamer, so they stick the Tamer on the board, and then you go Death X and wipe it.
Do you think it's worth the price that it's at right now?
I think most definitely it is, because you have to think it's a card that it's even more playable that, for example, Defeat, right? Because it goes in a lot of decks.
You can put it in every deck essentially if you really wanted to.
You can put it in every deck you want to, and I think currently, what is it, 60? I think it's overhyped, or I think it went down to 40, right?
Yeah, it's between 50 and 40. I bought ours at 25.
Like I bought my 3 copies that you see here for 30 each. Because I think it's a card that never should be 30 or under. Yeah,
no, and I don't think it will get banned at any stage, because again, it can be played in every single deck. It's so splashable.
Yeah, it's so splashable, and like what people have to think about is like every time you feel that this card is really strong against you, it's because it's designed to be as strong against you. Exactly. So it's a card that Bandai, I think it's well designed on the sense that it's a card to stop the aggressive decks. So I think when we start going, especially once the new support, for example, for Commandramon releases, and you have a deck that can spam the board on 1 turn, go from like 1 Digimon to 5 Digimon on board, people are going to realize that having cards that like this that can prevent you from like losing to people that just go rookie, 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 it's good for the game. Because it's like I say, like you can play around it, you can make your opponents never be able to play it. Because remember, this is cost reduction, not memory gain. So if your opponent, like if you don't have the memory that it requires to play it, you cannot play it.
Yeah, and if you drop down like a Psychmon or the Nuchikurimon as well, like that plays around it too. And
exactly,
like I don't think it is as broken as people imagine it to be, for sure. Like, I can't see it ever being banned, honestly.
Yeah, no, I think it's never going to get banned because I think it's a solution card. It's not a problem card, right? And solutions never get banned on that sense, because then you run into the problem of like
Rookie Rush.
You release a card and like it's unstoppable because you don't have solutions. When we look into bans, it's things like, for example, reinforced memory boost, because this is not a solution, this is a problem, because this makes every yellow deck being able to stack all the cards in their security and have infinite memory on their turn. So this is not a solution card, this is a problem card. And I think that that's something people have to realize. These type of cards are good. Right now it's played a lot, but you will see it drop down a lot in numbers on the next few metas, because right now it's really good because it's good against a lot of the top decks. But once we start going into more diverse things, this card won't be played as much and probably will go down to 2 copies to the decks that want it most, or maybe even like 1 copy as a tech on some decks.
Yeah, right? And especially against decks that like benefit off dying, that card is not good against them.
No, not at all. And so yeah, that's something that's really important. The other, like before going to the rookies that I think are the most fun part of the deck, I will show the tech card, the special card of the deck. This is a Galan mode, Crimson mode.
Very nice.
It's something that looks quite unplayable until you realize you can play it on top of a bench Kidmon, right?
Yeah.
And it's a card that gives you an edge on a lot of matchups. But what it does, it kills people really, really fast. So
it really does.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when I was saying that reinforced memory boost is part of a combo, the combo is like this. You play the Dimensionmon. If it's still on the board, you have a reinforced memory boost, and they ever give you 3 or more memory. You crack this, you evolve, and you swing for game.
Hey.
And that's a way that like not all the matchups, right? Because it's just 1 card, right, on the whole deck. But it's a card that gives you the possibility to end at games really quickly, especially on the mirror. Whenever you have the chance, you do this, because then you like set up so much pressure they cannot do anything. And also, like a lot of people, when I posted my screenshot of the deck and my results, right, ask like, why play this card? Like, sure, that's a bit like it's a situational thing, right? Killing people that fast because you need to have 3 memory, you need to have played a reinforced before that. But actually, the card is really good because going back to what I told you, if you're playing a bench Kidmon for 3, 2, or 1, or even 0, you can go a bench Kidmon, kill something, right? And then you go Galanmon, and then kill, like, you can stack it up so you kill 2 things with its effect, or you kill the other thing on the board. And like, even if you don't swing that turn, you're saying like, okay, you have something that will kill you next turn. So instead of building your board maybe, or like finding something to kill me, now you have to solve how to kill Galanmon.
Yes, absolutely. Now that is some spicy tech if ever I've seen any. And of course, security control is not used to winning fast.
No.
That is an interesting one.
Yeah. And another edge that the card has is that nowadays, because you have the FX, right, and the Galanmon, they both have 15k DP, and that's quite high. So against a lot of decks, it's actually like if they encounter Wyvern Breath on security, and it's something they cannot avoid with a card like ADB, right, a Delicate Plan, because they can, if they ever swing for less than 15, like they have to be afraid of our Digimons, not only our options.
It's a very scary deck so far.
Yeah. It's this is something that I saw online, and I was like, they must be playing it for the lols. And once I started running it, I realized the card is really good on the deck. It's something you could cut, right? It's maybe if you're no longer playing 3 bench kit, you're only playing 2, then maybe you say, okay, I'm gonna cut this because now I don't have like
as many
not guaranteed the way to play it. But I think it's a really good card, especially if you're going to be playing the 3. I think if you're going to be playing 3 Avenged Kidmon, you definitely should include 1 Galamon, because I think the card is that good. I think it's really important for the deck. Okay, so going back to the last cards, right? It's the rookies.
The fun part of the deck, right?
The fun part of the deck. And why I said the fun part, because I like to call this deck Salamon Tribal. That's because we're running 4 of the classic Salamons, like, of course, on deletion, recover if you have 3 or less. It's like something you always want. You're also playing 4 of new Salamon X antibody. What it does, when you're playing this Salamon on the early turns on top of a Biximon, you're never gonna swing it. So what you do is you evolve on top of it, and the effect of Salamon X is you get to look at the first card of your security. You always look at it. And you can add it to your hand if you want, and if you do, you recover a card. So basically you can exchange like the top card of your security to your hand and put something there. So what it does, it lets you remove other rookies, all the bad cards, maybe a Tamer that you actually want to play because you're against a matchup that will not swing early. Like it allows you a lot of setup. And also the other card we're playing, so we have more targets to play this on top of, is the BT9 Salamon, the purple one. Because what it does is on play, it gets to look at the top 4 cards of your deck and find a dual color card that's purple. So it finds your 3 Death X, it finds your 4 Health Sites, it finds the 4 Chaos Degradation, and it even finds your Mic Track. So you have like 12 targets that it can hit, right? And it becomes a 3-drop that on play draws 1 card. You can start, for example, playing like a lot of the games against aggressive decks. What I did was play Flame Halcite and bring back this Salamon, because I knew I killed something. Bring back this, I could maybe swing it on one of the rookies, or maybe check a security so I have a bit more pressure in the game, and this will draw me another Flame Halcite or another removal, right? So I can keep going and never lose the card advantage, right? We're playing 10 rookies here, so what this gives us is like between these, the Avenge, and the occasional Magna Angemons that we're going to have been dropping, we actually have pressure on the deck. It's not going to be a deck that's going to kill you on 1 turn, right?
Yeah.
But if you're suddenly like playing this, swinging, they're at 4, maybe then you play a Salamon and evolve a Salamon X, you draw, and maybe you know they're going to kill your egg, so you go like, okay, yeah, sure, rise it and swing. You're suddenly your opponent's a 3, a 2, and you're able to finish games without having to go to the deck out. Because so many things can go wrong that the deck actually prefers to win through damage than through deck out.
So the Sala X, that can go on top of the purple Salamon too. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice. Like, I love it.
So you have like 6 Salamons, because it also the purple Salamon can evolve on top of yellow cards.
Yeah.
So you can go like on the first turns, you can go like Piximon, evolve it into Salamon, and then you rise it and evolve it into Salamon X, and that already helps you start to stack up your security.
And drawing as well, because I know drawing can be an issue with security control.
Yeah, and especially like we said, for example, because we're running cards like Eden Javelin, Salamon X allows us to add even more cards, because we go play it, we draw 1 card for evolution, right? So we're still on the same card numbers, right? But then we get to add another card, so it's like another draw. And if we are like evolving on top of a Biximon, we have like, if you play an option, we even draw 1 more card. And
That's
the other
amazing.
thing that it does, that it bonds really well with the combo kill of the Galamon Crimson mode, because remember that parry cares if your security gets removed, doesn't care why. So if you know you can kill your opponent, 1 game it came out, for example, for the Crimson mode, but a lot of games came out for like memory to wipe the board or to do other stuff. You can go Salamon X on top of Salamon, you get their security card, and because you remove a card, you tap the carries, you gain memory, you go even to more memory, and you get to do plays otherwise you couldn't.
Yeah, you seem to get a lot of memory gain from like a serious value out of the carries and the mimis.
Yeah,
like
that's
it's crazy. I've never seen security control being played like this, but I haven't played it or played against it in a while now. You're blowing my mind with this.
Yeah. No, I think when I found out the tech about like playing Salamon X and like the regular Salamon, I was like, triggering this effect is so good. I want to do it more. What's the best card I could include to do this? Because we have a couple of Salamon, like to be honest, most of them are not good for the deck.
Yep.
But it turns out the purple Salamon, especially on this configuration we're running right now, it's really good. Because if you're playing 12 cards that you can hit off it, it's almost like it's 30. You're going to find 1 in 4.
Yeah.
I think during the whole tournament there was only 2 Salamons that missed across the whole tournament, and I played like 60 or 20, like 16 or 20 times this effect.
That's amazing. I'm delighted to hear that. I love Salamon. Salamon is one of my favorite Digimon to begin with.
It's such a cutie.
I like the Salamon and I like the Palamon line because, you know, I like the angels.
Yeah,
Big
yeah,
fan of
and
all
like,
that.
yeah, and I think it's a really good card, and I hope I see more people play it because I think it's a really undervalued card on this deck, especially if you're going to be running the full 4 copies of Chaos Degradation and the 4 copies of Flame Hellside and 3 copies of Death X, that in my opinion are like must runs. Like those 11 cards you should be running every single time on the deck.
Yeah.
Then this Salamon becomes much better, right? Because it's going to draw you cards all the time. Gives you like more targets for Flame Hellsides, because maybe you didn't see your Magna Angemons.
Yeah.
So now like you can return this draws another card, then you evolve it into a Salamon X. You get to look at your security, you draw another card, you swinging a bit on the early game. And also the good thing, it's another card you can drop on the first turns, so you don't give that much memory to your opponent, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have that many good plays on the early turns, because like you mostly go like, okay, your best turn 1 would be probably like maybe evolve the egg into something and play a Mimi.
Yeah.
And that's the best turn 1 you can have on. But you only have 4 Mimis and 3 carries that are like the best choice. So now at least you have like an extra Digimon that you can play on that slot, so you have like 10 cards. So you probably will have at least 1 card you can play on the early turns. So if you go first, you don't have to go like pass or just go Magna Angemon give you 7, because it's not the best thing.
Unless you're against a deck that you want them to swarm the board early.
Yeah, but then like you have to
That's just
know
mind
that
games.
then you have to have drawn your Death X and your Magnas, or like I don't know, some recovery to say okay, recover and give you. But I think it's a really good card, and it helped me win a lot of games, because having this many rookies allows you to actually finish games through damage. Like I was saying, proof of concept, I only won 1 game through deck out.
That's really impressive, especially
like
for security
actually,
control.
Yeah, and actually, it's actually not 1 game. It's actually just 1 matchup that I won by deck out. It's the Reaper, because it's basically the only way you can beat them, sadly. But it's the matchup you have to play for the deck out. But most of the games I finished with damage, because like a couple of times you swing with Magna Angemon because you want it to die, so you swing, see if it dies. No, it didn't. Okay, lives 1 turn. You check another time. Maybe some rookies that you rise up with Viximon, and they play something that you know is going to kill them. So you go, okay, I'm gonna swing because it's gonna die anyway, so at least I check 1 card. And suddenly your opponent like has a rookie on board and has only 2 security, and you go like, okay, how's I kill that? Bring a Magna, swing, you're at 1. And then your opponent has to start doing like reacting plays to yours.
Yeah.
And then you're like really strong.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got them kind of running away, so you can make your plays and go for game that way.
Yeah.
For BT10, how do you think you're going to change this deck, if at all? And like, do you think it's viable for BT10, especially with decks like the Cross Wars, where they do benefit off dying?
I think we get 2 cards at least that are extremely good for the deck. Launch a Distaco or something like that. So yes, the deck is extremely viable. There are some things are not as good going to BT10, right? Death X still very good, I think. Probably, I don't know if it's going to be at 3 or at 2 for the deck, but I think it's a card that's probably going to keep going on it. The Crimson and the Benchkidmons are going to drop a bit, because what I think you are going to run is you're going to start playing a lot more Angels. Why? Because one of the best cards you're going to be getting on BT10, it's Venusmon.
Venusmon, right? Yes.
Yes, so Venusmon has a crazy effect for this deck. That is, when Digivolving, you care a bit about this part, but it's not the most important part. It's a level 6, right? So you need to play one of your level 5s. But when Digivolving, it gives all your opponent Digimons -1 security.
Yeah.
That's already really good, right? Because it prevents you they from swinging for lethal if they have a wide board or whatever. But the best effect it has is your opponent's turn. Every Digimon your opponent has with any security plus or minus effect don't trigger any when Digivolving and when attacking effects, and also cannot attack Venusmon. So basically you can swing with Venusmon if you're playing against a deck, for example, all red decks and most of like blue decks nowadays, only if it's Imperial Dramon, like it wouldn't matter. For example, against Garudu X, against all the red decks, against most of the black decks that are going to be playing, against Chalmon DX, against all those decks, you can swing into the security, so you can start checking, and it's a 12k card, and they can never swing back to it. And also, all their attacking and when digivolving don't trigger. So for example, cards that usually are the vein of this deck, like Wargreymon that doesn't trigger options, don't activate when evolving, because they usually have the chain that gives them at least one extra security check. So they go play Wargreymon, and you go like, yeah, my timers don't die because it doesn't trigger because I have Venusmon on play. They have to start proactively removing your cards like Magna Angemon or probably Angewomon that you're going to be playing, so only so you don't evolve into a Venusmon. Right.
That explains why you were looking for the Angewoman X cards earlier on.
Yeah, I don't know if that one it's going to be played, but it's a card to have in mind.
Yes.
I think definitely the one that's going to be played, it's the one from the structure deck.
The -1 security. Well, yeah, that one's really good because it also gives you +1 security checks.
Yeah, because like you're required to have a purple Digimon in play, but that can come off.
Yeah.
But also like on play it makes something so it won't trigger with Venusmon, and also it only costs 6, so you can bring it back with Flame Hellsite.
Yeah.
And I think also the one that's probably going to be played, I don't remember, it's the promo one. There was one with another on play. I cannot remember right now on top of my head, or maybe just another of the rookies one. But like I think that's probably going to be played. I don't know. You probably just play 6 or so angels, right? You're playing 4 Magna always, and maybe 2 of
Angelwoman,
yeah, or maybe something else, that another level 5 that's also has some interesting effect for the deck. But we'll have to see. And the other card that's really good for the deck that comes out on BT10, this option card I was saying, that's the Killismon option. That's a 8 cost yellow option. Basically what it does, it kind of replaces Chaos Degradation. You don't like Chaos Degradation is really good. Some of the options you can run into is not having enough purple like Tamers in play.
Yeah.
Right? So the option, what it does is an 8 cost that if you have a Pulsamon in play, you can ignore the cost, but that part never matters for you. But what it does is, if you have 3 or more security, one of your opponent Digimons gets -12k for a turn. So it kills something, it's a bit less powerful than a Wyvern, let's say. But still 12k, I think it's going to be killing most things on the next meta, especially. Like maybe not one like the biggest files, but it's still good. And the other effect is like, if you have 3 or fewer security, you get to place one of your opponent's Digimon face down on top of their security stack.
That is really good.
So it's part of the Chaos Degradation effect.
Yeah.
Right? And the crazy thing is like, it's 2 effects. So if you have 3 security, it kills something -12k and then puts something on the security. Also, it's 2 removals in one, right? I don't know yet if that means, like, for example, we're going to be playing like 4 Chaos Degradation and 4 of this card, and maybe cutting the Eden Javelin, right? Yeah. Or every Wyvern we'll be playing, or maybe we're cutting the Chaos Degradation and playing that card. Now, one of the options we have is, since we have those new tools that are much consistent because they're only yellow, right? And they only require cards that we already are playing. We can go ahead and do something that maybe might be really interesting. It's cutting the purple cards and starting playing red.
Interesting.
Yes, because we have an option that has come out on EX2 that's extremely good for security control. But the thing is, like, we have not been able to play it because, like, we have been depending on purple for most of the like recent times. I would say it.
Yeah.
And that card is Fireball. So it's a card that's in EX2 it deletes a Digimon with 3k or less, right?
Yes.
But if it didn't delete anything, it draws you 2 cards for only 2 memory. And then you get to play a lot of cards that are also like kind of good, like red always had. Like maybe you can play Gaia Force, right? Or probably not, but like things like Atomic Blaster or Inferno. So you can play Atomic Blaster, right? So it's a card that can wipe your opponent board or like kill 2 things, or go to the Atomic Megalo Blaster, so you go to like up to 10k, or you can start playing Red X and Yellow Tamers. You can start playing the Rice Greymon option, right? Because it's also good. That's another avenue we have. So we can stick to the purple plan, because I think like Mimi and Carry on this deck is like really good.
Yeah.
So you can stick to that, but
or you can
could
change
also
over
play...
to the red package. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that, I think that will depend mostly on what metagame we end up having, right? If we're playing against like a lot of Shoutmon DX, maybe the red one is not as good, because it's more removal, so it doesn't matter as much, but not as much recovery, because you wouldn't be able to play Flame Hellside, for example, right? But maybe there's not as much Shoutmon at the end, because like people end up finding ways to defeat it that Japan didn't do, and like it's really good. Or maybe you're playing against a lot of decks like, I don't know, Mastemon could become really good, for example, if we had a lot of Shoutmon, right? Because they play Lucemon, like kill the Tamer that they have the most things under.
Yeah.
And you just set them back a lot of turns. Or maybe it's something really different now that we have like the Venusmon and like all that package that helps you really like win games swinging. Maybe you go into black.
Yeah, I foresee a lot of Sword defeats in the future.
Yeah, or maybe playing a lot of Sword defeats, or two cards that I wouldn't discount going forward. It's actually going into black and playing Congo on the security control, because it's a 2-cost card that turns all level 4s and unders to not attack you.
Yeah.
Right? And the other card that I wouldn't discount is, like you said, it's Defeat. Also the card that you get to play now if you're playing a lot of defeats, new merciful mode. So if you're going to be playing a yellow that's going to be already counting on like having a bunch of level 6s, right? Because you're playing more like Megasu, because you're dropping Venusmon. And if you play Venusmon, you probably want to play Sakuyamon. Yeah, the old one, the BT4 one, that whenever they bring an egg back, up to from like racing area, it gets security -3, and also reduces all your opponents like security, because then you have like a combo, so nothing they raise can attack or trigger effects basically, and you can swing with Venusmon because like it won't die unless it's like a 15k card.
Yeah.
So if you're playing like that, for example, you can start playing the Omnimon Merciful mode, because you can evolve it like for 3 on top of a defeat, or you can evolve it for 6 on top of a level 6 yellow, right? And it's a really good card because you kill something, it prevents you from dying because it goes back to the security. That's a card like can also come back. I think it's a deck that opens a lot of possibilities. It's going to be mostly a thing of the metagame.
Yeah, and I really like this Sakuyamon play, because I was actually playing that in my Mastemon deck against all the OTK decks.
Yeah.
And it served me so well. Like that card was a proper MVP of a deck. You know? Yeah.
Or even maybe the deck now, like when we do this transition, when we get the Venusmon, maybe we can like start playing like we play like a full hybrid package, right? And go like Rice Greymon. So we play all the level 4 hybrids, Rice Greymons, the option, and then we just go into Venusmon, and it's like we kill your small things, and then we lock your board so you cannot kill us anymore, and we just swing, and we win. I think nowadays we only have 2 true control decks on the game, that it's security control and Mastemon. If you build the Mastemon on the more control side, right? Like kill your stuff, like recover, and you go that route. I tell this to people all the time. Whenever decks become too greedy, you want there to be a control deck to punish that. Because if people are going to say, you know what, I don't respect anyone who's going to recover or have options in security, I'm just going to build my deck as an OTK, I will kill you turn 3 all games. Someone will come with security and say, you know what, you're not allowed to do that. You have to play some options like Congo. You have to play some removals. You cannot go like 100% consistent combo and kill everyone all time.
It makes for better deck building, I believe.
I think also.
Well, congratulations on coming second at the regional. I know it was a really tough day and you did amazingly. We were watching the stream here in the house.
You do what you can, right? And at the end of the day, I'm extremely happy because I think I did the right call. I felt that the deck was really strong against what people would bring, and it was.
Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to say as like a closing statement to everybody, especially those who want to play security control? We won't mind those people who hate it.
No, like I would say, like, people play the deck if you enjoy playing control. Don't get you discouraged because they don't like playing against the deck, because people won't like playing against things that kill them on turn 3 either way. So go ahead, play it. It's a fun deck. I think it's a really skill intensive deck, and it's not a deck that's slow like many people think.
Thanks again for coming on the channel and giving us a really in-depth guide to security control and letting us know that that it is viable for BT10. So I'm so excited to. I might actually give it a shot myself now. You've convinced me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, people, but every time I get to convince people to play it, it's a good day. And who knows, maybe we will be doing another deck check with the updated list right on BT10, or maybe the options.
Oh, absolutely. As soon as you have your new deck built, I'm going to make sure I get that profile like a couple of days before you go and win the next event.
Oh, that will be such epicness.
That would be amazing. Well, thank you very much, and I will talk to you again next time.
Okay, thank you very much, and thanks a lot for having me.